course. They won their match earlier, and they were saying themselves, like, hey, we want to face FaZe and then Optic if we had our choice in terms of semis and finals, because we want to beat these like big names in Call of Duty and prove to everyone that when we win LANs, when we win offline, it's not a fluke. It's not because we had easy matchups. But then we come to this matchup and we're looking at objectively, we're like, yeah, but if Complexity shows up to play, FaZe might not be the big name team that Rise mentions them as.
Look, I think there's a realistic chance that Complexity can come out the gates and beat FaZe. I think where this series is going to be determined for me is going to be in the search and destroy. As at times it seems like that's Complexity's best game mode, and FaZe, they're no slouches in that mode as well. But when you stack them up the respawns, especially when you compare their uplink game, I think I favor FaZe a little bit in those game modes.
What I'd be a little bit scared about for Complexity is I actually really think FaZe play Fringe S&D really well, which is that game 5, which can be a swing game in the series, whether it's FaZe going into it one game off winning or it's tied up going into it at 2-2, and FaZe take that one to give themselves the advantage. Definitely watch out for that one to be a swing game later on in the series.
All right, and looking back at the history of Stage 1 a little bit, these teams, like most of the ones that we've covered, actually 1-1 split. So again, across the different weeks, they've had some ups and downs.
That one win was a forfeit in the final game, so it did go to game 5. I think one thing we could take away is, these teams can be evenly matched at times, and it all comes back to the inconsistency of this Complexity squad. We like to joke around saying, what Complexity are we going to get? Because sometimes we just don't even know.
Yeah, it's really hard to call. I mean, we've been saying the whole weekend, we've kind of hyped up the whole weekend as it's going to be intense, it's going to be close, and that's true. But this one, it's not really necessary that it's close. It's you don't know what to expect, right? It's not that, hey, they're very evenly matched. It's more like if Complexity shows up, they could go wild and they could be that stallion that just races all the way to the end. But if they don't, it could be a complete flop on their end, and FaZe could be able to just carry that torch all the way.
I'm really wondering, how Complexity tried to possibly give themselves an advantage in the bans and protects. I haven't had as much time.
They do like to get creative.
Yeah, they definitely do, and we've seen that majority of the time coming from Parasite on this team, probably the vocal leader in either protecting a concussion, which he's done many times against these top teams. Definitely something that's possible, and it sounds so simple, right? Protecting a tactical grenade, but it plays a bigger role than you'd think. Yeah. That means that teams have to begin to run trophy. They have to start to throw on tac mask. It's something that can be used to win gunfights that Complexity maybe should have lost if they didn't have those in their arsenal. Small things like that can make a big difference in a game.
Also, sometimes they like to ban out like blast suppressor, even quick draw at times, just to change the pace of the game, change some of the timings that these players are used to, are all things that Complexity have done in the past to throw off their opponent.
Yeah, I mean, we noticed some of that earlier when perhaps like all the tacticals are banned out, right? It's because of the way that the creative class has been innovated a little bit with the pick 10, and now once you ban certain things, it's like, all right, it opens up other options when you protect concussions and whatnot. Now you got to react. You got to have some of your classes prepared with those perks and other counters.
So I'll say right off the bat, I expect these two teams to kind of wait in this ban and protect, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try to feel out their opposing team. Does look like it's a heatwave ban for Parasite. Wouldn't be surprised to see Clay ban the HC right after.
Oh, right there, calling it. And both of these kind of safe bans, right? Because they try to wait each other out. They didn't get the message they wanted, so they were like, we'll take some more of the standard things out for now.
Yeah, right. I think it was more of like Clayster wanted to feel out his opponent, see where Parasite wanted to go with this one. Obviously, a Heatwave ban is targeted at Enable. Right there with Karma is probably a couple of the best Heatwave players in this entire game. Rapid Fire and High Caliber, both teams working together to get out those two popular attachments.
And the reason they're taking their time with the bans is they want time to react to what the other team is going to do. They don't want to get that ban out too early and then see the other team do something crazy like protect a concussion so that they would have time to maybe protect like a perk 3 greed after that.
Yep, so now that things have started playing out a little bit, both teams perhaps just accepting the fact that they're not going to get a clear message from the other side first. And there we go. The concussion ban does come out from Attach at the very end. They tried to wait, and they were just like, all right, well, now it's down to those last two bans and protects. We got to get it out of there before they protect it.
They put a focus on it, and the final two makes sense. Shiva ban from the side of Complexity as well as Overclock. And there's the active camo right away from Parasite. He's done this a lot in Hardpoint for this team. He'll get in the hill. He'll wind up getting pushed. He'll use it to give himself a great peeker's advantage on the players pushing in at him. And there's the Tempest from Clayster. After what we've seen from Karma this weekend, Karma can definitely give him a run for his money. And best Tempest player in Black Ops 3, but right now I think Clayster still has that title.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was Royalty. Earlier today was Karma. Can Clayster now show up and prove to everyone that he's up there in the running as a top player with the Tempest? We're about to find out in this Hardpoint.
I'm starting to love the Tempest more and more. I mean, not only is it just as effective as the Annihilator, you also add on time to the death cam when you pick up a kill with the Tempest just because you got to watch yourself get electrocuted, essentially.
Yeah, it gets a little annoying, right? It also gets to your head a little bit. You have to watch yourself
I get so annoyed by that.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I just want to spawn back in. Like, I just want to see what my teammates are doing. You don't have that option.
Oh, yeah, there's so many benefits to a Tempest. Definitely expect to see it more and more often as we head into Stage 2.
All right, well, it is going to be that Fringe Hardpoint opening up the entire best of 7. Revan, what are your thoughts about this map for these two teams?
All right, so going into French Hardpoint, I really want to highlight the anchor player for this one. I think it's just going to be an interesting battle. And the Hardpoint I want to start on where we really see the anchor players come into play is going to be right here on Grandma. So we all know where the anchors like to play, right? It's going to be kind of here near the back silos. Sometimes they'll rotate over towards this back train depending on what happens to this player holding near globe. And this guy, he's in charge of watching the overextension from players pushing through the tracks. But for the most part, this anchor guy, he wants to be watching over near auto because when you're coming from the junkyard hardpoint, that rotation, around 30 seconds is when you start to see players push through and contest for that spot. But, of course, your ideal setup, you got a player inside the hard point. Then you got somebody kind of near this half wall or like over near the white chalk. He could push and challenge middle map, also rotate back and help out his teammate over near auto. But as we move towards the train tracks hardpoint, this is one where you want your anchor player locking down over near globe. That could be a tricky spawn to lock down, but of course he could push through this side of the map, block off that spawn. You send somebody else to push through near back barn, and of course you could spawn the other team all the way over here, and then you get one guy inside the hard point, one guy kind of push up in small room. That's going to be your ideal setup, and look for the anchor players between both these teams to have some important interactions.
Yeah, every time we get a chance to take a closer look at Fringe Hardpoint, it all revolves around that Grandma Hill, right? One way or another, you guys emphasize some different points, but then what we're starting to notice is, it is kind of one-sided in terms of which spawns you control. Once you control that side of the map, you do have an advantage in all three hills, 2, 3, and 4.
Yep, and I always do this before these series start, but I'm just going to go on the record, and I think that this is going to be a series where I normally ask Revan what his thoughts are. I'll be the one to give mine first. I'm just going to say
Nobody asked you, Jack.
I think FaZe are going to wind up winning this one, but I think it's going to go the distance. I think this one will go all the way to a Game 7.
For me, this could be a 4-0, or this could go all the way to Game 7. It all depends on if complexity show up or not.
Jack, I like the way you think because guess what? If you just make all the predictions, eventually people only will remember that one miracle one that you made, and they'll forget all the wrong ones that you had. So we'll see if it comes true this time. Is it going to be FaZe coming out hot right off the gates in game number 1, or will Complexity be here to play during the playoffs? Let's find out as we load in with Maven and Mr. X.
Thank you, gentlemen. And I kind of tend to agree. Similar feeling for Envy. Those two, Complexity, Envy, and a free fall at the end of stage 1. What team are you going to get?
It could go either way, but I think, for me, it would be fitting with these two teams, the history between them. It goes Game 7. Game 7, be a stronghold SND.
Well, that has some chippiness written all about it. Back to what, week 3, week 4? What was that?
That was really early. It might have been week 3, week 4,
real early.
It's very difficult to remember that far back.
That drama went down, Treegate, as it would be named. But let's hop right into the action. A couple down for either side right now. Fighting for control of mid-map. Clayster going to be that strong AR role. He's playing a sub early in the game. Enable doing that AR, and they kind of switched. And how have you felt about the switch since?
I think it's been a good switch. It was, obviously Enable was putting up great numbers earlier, but the FaZe team was just not winning. Now they're definitely playing a playstyle that results in more Ws for their team. And they brought it up for a second on the analysis desk, but you have Attach. He's been playing really well lately. He didn't hit his stride to about this time last year. This time last year was about around where COD Champs was, and that's where you really saw Attach start to come into his own. Same with Zuma. So I think these players are just getting into their stride here in Black Ops 3. Can only get better.
Well, you kind of feel like, for Attach, he's been just a top player since day 1, it seems like this time, where he hasn't had that ramp up. He's just been crushing. If there's another gear to this kid, that is very, very scary for every team, man.
Yeah, but at the early outset, Complexity jumping out to an early lead, and it's going to be FaZe getting control of that hill yet again. You see all 4 die for Complexity in the kill feed, and with this Complexity team, when things are going right, they're playing well, they're as good as anyone, but it's when they get faced with adversity, they're not a team that pushes back against it. They kind of just crumble.
Yeah, at times you definitely will see that, and we just don't know. The inconsistency they had towards the end of the year, are they going to be able to pick it up? But then you talk about, let's think about FaZe. FaZe had that rough bump. Remember, what did they lose? They lost something like 3 or 4 straight, I think. We thought they were maybe going to collapse, but Attach going big as he is now on a 3 streak. Unfortunately, going to end there as he gets stuck and the shots come in. But look at Attach right now. I'm going to go back to him. Look at him compared to everyone else in the game. Yeah,
but FaZe stuck with it as a team.
That's true.
And they changed some roles up. It wasn't something where, they just kept doing the same thing over and over again. They switched Clay back to an AR, able to an SMG. You haven't really really lost much production out of him, but it's really kind of been attached, leading this squad, and Complexity started to make a little bit of a comeback phase, though, just wipes them off the board in that second hard point. They get control of Grandma, does Complexity. You see Ricky just absolutely turn on Clay. Clay missing a lot of shots, and you know it's going to be dangerous because FaZe pushing this hill from the front. They're not able to break it. Complexity jumps right back into the lead.
Complexity's had early control of the back spawns here for Grandma's. It's globe control from Miracles doing an excellent job. They try and break in the front. They're able to fly in. I think that was Zuma that won one through the side, but he will get ultimately cut down. 30 seconds remaining here for Grandma's. Attach wants to use some smokes here to get out of 10. Can work well, but unfortunately you have a player there over half ball who is ready and waiting for him. We're going to have another lead change here. Complexity taking over yet again. You see the Tempest ready for Ricky. Let's check what else do we have on the map. You have Enable with Camo, and look at the bottom right, well, I guess of the Scorpion. You have every single player about to pop here for Complexity.
And something I just remembered, Maven, in that series that we had between these two teams with that Stronghold Game 5, the first map was a fringe hardpoint. And remember, FaZe had the lead going into the final seconds, and then Complexity made that massive hold on that.
They went like 250 to 245 or something,
yeah, it was
right?
very close. So not shocked to see a very close hardpoint game between these two.
Yeah, good point. I totally forgot that they did play it on this map, so we can expect a back and forth match for sure. So far, Complexity looking strong, but now you see Tempest out. That's going to be for Clayster. Let's switch to his POV. He's got a Lightning. He's on a 4 streak, working on that Hellstorm and potentially a Cerberus. Can he continue to lock it down? Half the juice left in the tank here. Can he connect on any more of these shots? Zaps coming out left and right, not able to pick it up. Needs to get back to that M8. Tags up one by Little Room. There's the melee, and that's going to be the Cerberus. What a way to pick up full streaks for Clayster.
Well, they let Complexity get the lead. They're going to get some time back here. They actually have the chance to take the lead back to his FaZe, but it's more important that they actually get these streaks on the Clay. Could be huge going forward in this hardpoint.
Well, we have seen yet another lead change here. FaZe has gotten back into control. A big part of this has been the massive performance from Clayster. As we get back to our second side of rotations, I want to hop to a listen-in here with FaZe Clan.
I'm playing top barn. I'm playing top barn. I'm playing top barn. One's in hill. Brick side of hill. Brick side of hill. Two in bricks. One was in bricks. One's brick side of hill. One was in bricks. I spawn barn. I spawn barn.
Oh, bottom hill. I got
three.
Brick. Let's go bricks. Dead. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm looking.
I'm gonna go bricks. I'm gonna go elbow.
Stay down as long as you can.
You sounded me. Nice.
One more
I got bricks.
Oh my god.
Elbow.
One on me. Middle hill.
I spawned fences. Oh, I mean, I spawned out. I mean, second off.
Back barn.
Yeah, I'm 10. Front barn, one shot.
Look for the guy from barn. I'm going all the way back barn.
Two in hill. Wood. I got wood. Two in hill.
I'm camping back here. I
got him.
That's a big 10 seconds, guys.
Top ground behind you.
Yeah, yo, he's 10 guys. One's 10.
I'm coming, Dylan. I'm giving us the back. Oh no.
Yeah, I spawned there. Yo, you have 10? Yo, do we have bricks?
On old hill.
He's wall running 10. Yo, I naded him brick. They cook him brick though. What's 10?
Behind me, he came behind me. They flanked alley.
I'll tell you what, that hard point was pretty split, but I did love the communication I heard from FaZe. You know, being a former coach and player, what did you like from that listening?
No, they just never seem down on themselves. Even when Complexity is getting time, they still hold the lead. Those guys never down on themselves, always focus on what they need to do to put themselves in a successful position. You see Clay uses his lightning strength there, trying to open this hill up for FaZe, and they're able to get in there, start taking some time. And you see Miracles now pushing the front of the hill. Ricky's going to pick one up as well. So they know only 2 players left in the hardpoint. Fantastic shots there by Miracles. 19 and 20, but he's really the player you looked at on this team that needed to like step up and really show up in the slaying department and help guys out like Parasite and Nameless. And right now you're getting an average game out of Parasite. He's -5, but Miracles really showed up in this first hardpoint this far.
Well, they're going to be rotating first over to Grandma's. They set up very nicely in our first side of rotations, and here they look primed, ready to lock it down. You have Nameless aimed in on 10. You have Trackside, Parasite. These two going to have such crucial roles in holding this down. We heard FaZe through the central hardpoint. I want to do a listen in now with Complexity here for Grandma's.
Silo got me. Got Silo. He got Silo. You still Silo? I'm watching 10.
White pickup. Listen. White pickup.
I got him. White pickup dead. My Silo. He's coming up. Silo. One shot. Push him.
I got Zuma. I got him.
I got a foot hill.
One hit 10.
Two of them. Let's go.
They're both one shot. They're weak.
I got him one shot. They're going tough now.
Watch your top. Higher step.
One street.
Watch your step.
One shot. Hill. I spawned out. Push him. Let's go 30. Huge, guys. I hear from window. Top window.
One shot.
On the window.
I'm pushing this.
Push this up.
Where? I'm hitting the steps. I hit the steps on him. I got him on the steps. Let's go.
Go, Miracle. 10-1-8, go.
Once you're dead, let's go.
Nice,
let's go. Rotate eaches.
I got hill.
I'll watch. Alright, watch the late flank. Watch the 10 flank.
Stay down. Stay down. Stay down, guys. Push me. Pinch, one shot. Where's he going? Where's he going?
Great stuff. I think both were very positive, what we heard from FaZe, what we heard from Complexity. One thing that stood out for me, I thought FaZe did a really good job calling out positions. I thought it was a bit better job from Complexity, kind of calling out tagged up players, who was weak, what their position was, where they pushed from. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, you get the total package from Complexity. You expect that. I mean, you have 2 world champions on this team with Miracles and Parasite. You know, Ricky and Nameless, 2 very talented players as well, and you see Miracles getting that lightning strike. When he gets going, he is one of the more explosive SMG players we have in Call of Duty, and you notice when we talked about that auto hill, Parasite only had 15 kills, doesn't get a kill the entire one of Grandma, but it's still Complexity able to take the lead, and that is good signs if they're winning when Parasite is not performing at his best.
Solid positioning there from Ricky, Matt. He got 2 players pushing by Globe. I couldn't agree with you more on that statement, but how back and forth has this been? You mentioned that 250, 245 or so game they had during stage 1. Is this going to lead to another epic series between these 2 teams? And like you said, to kick things off, could it be more than fate that they could end this in a stronghold S&D? Unbelievable.
It seems like that way. I mean, these 2 teams, although FaZe, they were really good during stage 1, they had that rough patch, right? But Complexity, this is a dangerous team to come in and play, almost like Luminosity from the standpoint that Luminosity on a day could show up and beat a top team, right? Complexity the same exact way. When they show up and they play like we've seen them do in the past, they can beat anybody. And you see Clay with a big 3-piece with the Tempest. He's able to pick up another one. Still has that Cerberus at his disposal. Clay with another Tempest kill.
Oh my God.
When will people realize Tempest over Annihilator?
What was that?
Ricky's brain!
It's been melted into goo, taking the Tempest to the face. What's impressive, those were all headshots too for the most part. Disgusting stuff. Cerberus dropped in yard. He has a Hellstorm, has a Lightning, looking to take control as they are trailing by 4, coming down to the wire. This is everything we could ask for in this matchup. Nutty stuff there from Clayster.
And Complexity has to be feeling the pressure right now. All of those Tempest kills come in. You see your teammates dropping to that specialist weapon. Then you hear the Cerberus coming down. No, the Hellstorm as well. They have to be feeling the pressure at this moment in time. Their lead slipping away that they worked so hard for.
Complexity's done an excellent job to this point, but how can they win it on this hard point? They have so much to deal with. They have to get the EMPs out. They have to try and break through there on the Cerberus. They're doing a great job so far. You see it tagged up, and despite the tank in the middle, they've got control. What a break from Complexity, and they've been doing such a good job on Grandmas to this point. You got to be feeling pretty good if you're the Complexity roster.
Without a doubt, they rotate, they get control of these spawns like they have the previous 2 times. They look like in a good position to be able to try and close this one out. You see they have 2 players that have rotated, or they're going to give up the last 20 seconds or so on auto. That's a big kill in the back though from Zuma. He's able to pick up 1. He's the only player alive from FaZe here. Needs to go big. Only going to get 1 player, and you see Complexity. They're going to get full control here. They win these gunfights. It's going to buy them that 20 seconds back. We're going to be right back where we started, the start of that auto hill.
And it's unbelievable how well they've done to control the beginning of this hardpoint almost every time. We're going to Parasite. He's been struggling a bit at 19 and 36. Can he come up huge in the clutch? But the break coming in for FaZe. Enable now 5 streak. The man in, working towards that dart. We've got 1:40 on the clock. 18 points needed for FaZe. Can they shut it down in Grandma's? You see the Scythe player coming front window. You can see him through the X-Way. All the pressure flying in. Miracles gets the break. He's going to drop. It's traded out. Attach the man in. Can the young buck go big? He's gonna fall. Complexity gets the hold, but only 11 more points needed for FaZe.
And this Scythe player is still alive. It's going to be Nameless up top, and you see everyone drop around him. He's going to be able to pick up 1, turns to that front window, not going to be able to take out Clay. FaZe could win it on this hill, and they just need 2 or 3 kills. Maybe that's all they need to get here.
They should be able to do it here. You hear the FaZe fans getting hyped in the building. They lock it down, and there it is. Map 1, FaZe.
Clay is hyped. I thought we were going right down to the wire, a lot like we saw in that first matchup in the regular season. FaZe goes huge, though. That lightning strike from Clay proved to be a lot to be able to get that spawn.
And it all came off of that stretch with the Tempest, right? That weapon has been such a difference maker all weekend. Impeccable plays from Clayster. Want to hear your guys' thoughts, though. Chopra, Mr. William, take it away.
Well, you know, talking about the Tempest, I want to go back to that hill, the center hill, right? Complexity's trying to break it, coming in. I wasn't sure if that first shot from Clay hit, but then we suddenly see it just chain off to the whole team of Complexity. And then he goes off. He just starts firing the shots, and it hits everyone.
I made that face because this is the Clayster that I wanted to see come out of the gates. Yes, Complexity, don't get me wrong, performed well. They held their own to the very end, but They've got a Clayster right now that is so locked in and laser focused. He is ready to go. He got up yelling right away. It's what makes him one of the most fun players to watch. And it's almost like he heard me prior to that game starting and said, Clay, are you the best Tempest player in Black Ops 3? Well, he shows why he is right there.
Yeah, he's definitely got some highlights in that one. But like you said, to give credit where credit is due, Complexity, especially on that auto hill where they had to break it with a Cerberus in there, they made it happen. They just started throwing all the MPs they had, and then they sat in there, didn't worry about the Cerberus. They positioned themselves so they didn't get picked off altogether, and they got some points back.
Yeah, attach goes huge early on for FaZe, but it looked like it was shaping up for a Complexity comeback on that final hardpoint. Everything was going their way. They had their setup going. They had a scythe inside the hardpoint, but FaZe are able to set up to break, and they closed out in the very end. But, you know, you got to give props, as you were saying, to Complexity. They hung in there till the very end.
They most certainly did. And one thing I really want to touch on from that game one is I think that FaZe, and Revin, you can either argue this or back me up on this, I think FaZe used their specialists 10 times better
exceptionally well,
than
yeah.
Complexity on that map. Even in just this highlight, you saw Parasite fail a camo play. You saw Nameless only get 1 kill with a sight before dying. On the side of FaZe, here's the clip from earlier where he just got like 17 headshots in a row with the Tempest.
Almost got his teammate right there. But also, I remember some camo plays they made a little earlier just to push out that anchor and really solidify their position over your silos. But here's some score streaks that come in as, you know, Clay completely took over that game. I think he had 2 sets of streaks going into that one. And these are the final moments of the game. For a second, it looked like Complexity were going to re-break into it, but FaZe hold on. Another close game on Fringe Hardpoint.
That's true. Yeah, that seems to be the running theme now for these two teams. But in the end, it is FaZe getting that lead going into the search and destroy. So now they're up 1-0. You can tell right away. I mean, they had some talks right after, but the emotion was running high. The energy's there on the side of Complexity. I mean, do they have to swap some things up? Especially in Hunted, I mean, anything can happen on this map.
And they get the protect on Overkill right away. That's something going into this map that I was a little bit worried about, because on the side of Complexity, you don't have too many strong snipers, where we've seen from FaZe at times where they would bring out 4 Overkill snipers.
Attach. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, the SVG does get banned out, but, I mean, that's not the only sniper in the game.
This is the man that's used the Thermal PO6. He's used the Locust on multiple occasions. Obviously, the SVG. Hell, he's even used an Elosite Draken. Unless Complexity spend all 4 of their bans, which they haven't, on banning every sniper possible, there will be one in the hands of Attach in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the options are there. Of course, the Dragon, probably the one that stands out the most to being a little different in terms of how you have to play it. But, again, like you said, Attach not going to be shying away from that one. So Complexity just saying, all right, well, we'll at least take out the most standard one. Maybe limit the numbers a little bit, but I'm sure FaZe is not too bothered by that.
Okay, so far things after that protect on Overkill starting to get a bit standard. So Complexity actually go ahead, they ban out the SVG, they ban out the Locust as well. So I'm guessing it's going to be maybe the PO6 coming out from Attach here?
Yep, I still definitely expect to see a sniper presence on the map, even though those, I guess, most 2 preferred snipers have been banned out. Overdrive right away from Miracles, no surprise there, as he's going to be that aggressive submachine gun player getting right in the face of FaZe.
All right, so smoke grenades make it through. The thermal side as well make it through. Expect to see those come into play. Now you have to worry about using cold-blooded as well in this game.
Yeah, concussions and flashbangs also making it through. Only EMPs being banned out in terms of the tactical. So
it's
a lot to play with.
You want perk 1 greed in, you want perk 2 greed in, you want perk 3 greed, but you don't have enough points to use everything.
And this is something we can talk about after this game to see how it all plays out, but I want to quickly mention FaZe on their last ban got rid of the EMP. Would you possibly rather seen them get rid of something like perk 2 greed, where if they want to go for a push through smoke on a B where there's a thermal sniper waiting, they have to either pick to have cold-blooded or have themselves have fast hands? Something small like that.
You do bring up a good point, and that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, well, let's break down the map a little bit more in terms of the details. I mean, Revin, what are some key points that you're looking at between FaZe and Complexity here?
2 players I'm going to be looking out for on the side of FaZe are going to be Attach and Zumo. For one, you got Attach. He's probably going to bring out the sniper. Where he's going to be using it is going to be right here at the B bomb site on offense. This is what this guy's going to do. Slow peek this corner and challenge that player behind the B bomb site. And he's going to be playing almost like an Octane type role, where on the defensive side of things, sometimes he could be the only person setting up right here at that B bomb site, and he's just in charge of locking down that whole bridge. Now smoke grenades do come into play here. He could actually smoke himself out, right? Because he has that thermal site to rely upon. And now we need to worry about, okay, how are the thermal sites or cold-blooded going to come into play here? Now another player we need to look out for is going to be Zuma, because this guy seems to always flank his opponent. So when FaZe are gearing up for that kind of B bomb site push, sometimes you could see Zuma take this exact route where he goes all the way around the wall run, comes around here, comes all the way around this wall run, goes all the way behind enemy lines and somehow finds his way over near C domination, flanking his opponents on the defensive side. Look for him to do that as well, but he's just one of those players where you need to keep an eye out for. And of course, you got to worry about the Kappa, the troll inside the water. There's so many different things you could do on that side of the map, and it's just a nightmare whenever you're pushing inside B because you don't know what's going to happen inside the water.
It's only fitting because trolls are under the bridge, and right there, that one on the B side, you got to watch out. So a little scary. It's this map. I mean, I know Nate was saying it's scary to play on, but to watch, it's a joy because again, anything can happen. There's so many little nooks and crannies on both bomb sites. I think it's exciting.
Oh, it most certainly is. It's one that I definitely look forward to. Now, I will point out, FaZe have said this before. I casted them during a 25K. I interviewed Attach after the match ended on Hunted. He said this is the map that we are most unsure of in our S&D gameplay. Hunted, they are not very confident in. They've had time to practice since then. We'll have to see how they play it.
All right, well, we'll see. Does it pan out? FaZe currently leading 1-0. It's going to be game number 2 in this best of 7 to decide who moves on to the semifinals of the Call of Duty World League presented by PS4. Maven and Mr. X, take it away.
Thank you, guys. Let's get into some search and destroy. This is the mode that kind of kept complexity alive throughout stage 1, right?
It was. It was search and destroy wins, and it was game 5 wins. That really complexity. It's the reason they're here and not in relegation, to be quite honest. And the one match I can remember us seeing FaZe in on Hunted, it was against Rise. It was the first match of the CWL. Went to that round 11, I believe, 1v1, Attach, and slapped.
Both of their matches versus Rise were game 5, Hunted S&D, round 11, 1v1s that Attach won. Which is absurd to think about.
So like Jack said, I mean, they don't feel the most confident in their Hunted S&D play, but they've got it done twice, at least, that we can remember in the Pro League. And jump into this on the offensive side of things. I was just going to say, who's using snipers? We're going to see a PO6 here out of Attach.
Oh, someone's face is about to melt. Oh, thankfully they wait in the corner. Nope, they hop back, and that grenade and the shot good to connect. Ricky, what's funny, I remember last time we casted him, I think it was you and I talked about how Ricky is one of the best in the business at holding down B. By himself a lot of times, man. He is just a statue there. He wins the gunfights. He can play so effectively. Versatile player on just when it comes to the grenade use. His inmate shot. He is so skilled at that. We'll see if he can get in the face-to-face. Clayster, though, going in, winning a big one. Next person in, Miracle's going to be hopping in through water. Is there anyone there to cover the bomb carrier? The answer is no. He cleans up Clay. Bomb is down today, and Miracles is dipped.
And this is a scary map for complexity from the standpoint that Breach uplink coming up next. FaZe is undefeated in that one at 5-0, and complexity 1-4. And then if it goes to a stronghold CTF, FaZe is undefeated on that one as well. So this 2 tough maps coming up. For complexity, they need to get this map.
And the rotation comes in for Ricky, but unfortunately for him, they have Rap. Now, Miracles might be able to get in behind one of these players. Will they be able to get the bomb down? All he has to do is kill this carrier. We'll check enable. The plant is in. Let's get right back to Miracles as he will be the one to pop up and get the kill. Can he do it? It's down. Comes in from behind. The plant gets in, though. And to clutch it. He just goes ahead and pushes him, but Miracle shuts it down, picking up both players. 3 kills in that round. I mean, he was the one that, he got that opening kill. He stopped the plant at A and then cleans up the plant at B.
Obviously, really early in this series, I thought Miracles played really well on that hard point. Looking to continue that strong play in the S&D with 3 kills in that first round. And once he stuns this player, I actually did not expect Zuma to push that. Obviously, once he's stunned, he's already in that motion.
Yeah, Zuma did not expect that stun.
That had to surprise Miracles as well, because you throw a stun back there, you expect the player to be playing further back. When you see a player just dart around the corner after getting stunned, it's got to catch you off guard. Miracles still able to win a fairly easy gunfight.
All right, well, we're sticking with Miracles because he's 200 off his dart. We'll take a look at the class. He's got a frag, smoke, perk 3 greed there. Very common, obviously, in search and destroy. And he has the HC car to work with as well. It looks like they're going to work towards A a little bit more, so let's check the player at the bottom of your screen. That's going to be Zuma. We'll switch over to him. One coming through mid-map is Clayster. He finds one, dips out, and just barely stays alive. How weak is he?
He gets tagged up pretty bad, and this is what Nade was talking about, that those water routes are so scary to deal with on the offensive side of things because those teams can cover both bomb sites fairly quickly.
And you saw Nameless soar through here. He's gotten onto the site. Are both of the players down in water? Yeah, they're both in water. One hops out. It's able to be traded. Now we've got a 2v2, and he almost jumps on somebody. Nameless, nice movement there. A bit of luck on his side as well, as he will pick up the kill. And now you had Zuma. He was, kind of in a 1v2, came down to a 1v1, finds himself in a similar position yet again here.
And I'm not shocked with complexity strong S&D play this far. Like we talked about, this is what they kind of rode all the way until the playoffs portion. You're going to see Zuma's going to pick up one there. On to Ricky. He's going to come out and challenge Nameless.
Great awareness there. He tries to peek. Zuma so tagged up. Pre-fires, has to reload. He has 30 seconds to work with. Plenty of time here. Let's take a look at Nameless's POV. Oh, he's inching forward. Wants to turn this into a sub battle. He might get caught from behind as he wraps. Time in his side. Zuma flies forward yet again and gonna get caught. Was that the same round?
Yeah, essentially.
That's how it was
essentially just the same round.
Exactly what we saw from the other side. Insane stuff there. The clutch coming in for Nameless. So right now it's 2 1v1s. Zuma not able to win either. You know, their guy that's usually winning those, it's Attach. I mean, he's been their clutch one-on-one player, right?
Right. And Zuma with an AR and left in a very difficult position because Nameless with an SMG sitting on the bomb site trying to run down that cave with an assault rifle would have been, I don't want to say easier for Zuma to win it with I don't say he would have won it with an SMG. It would have been a lot easier to win it with an SMG in his hands. And obviously, Complexity up 2-0 with Parasite starting off 0-2 was really just kind of off in that hardpoint game. Looking to see Parasite really turn it on here in the S&D.
Well, Nameless backs him up. Some kills being traded out. Parasite trying to find some around mid-map. Can't catch that player before he hops across. He's going to dip back into water. Let's look at mid-map for Ricky. He's rotated out the backside of B. They've given up the site, but Bomb is top middle. And one player squeaking through. Is Attach going to... Oh, Attach tries to push forward, but Ricky, nice job going vertical there.
Now, if FaZe loses this round, do you think they kind of tell Attach to put the PO6 away? It's just not working out for them.
Behind you.
I feel like he's able to turn around. Parasite's able to finish him off. But do you think the sniper and just playing off of attempting to get picks with the PO6 is hurting FaZe?
I mean, he hasn't. If Ricky keeps throwing that grenade there, he's going to back him off it pretty much every time.
And then
he's
you're kind of useless.
He's showing that he's not going to peek it, at least for the time being. He has. Attach could be able to come up behind one, but they still have to get bombed down. I'll keep Enable highlighted. He's actually going to engage one in a second. Thank God he went high, but not going to matter, though. And now everything on Attach. Bomb, opposite side of the map. 3 players to deal with here. Can't pick up the first, and there's simply not enough time here.
And Parasite working on the ace this round. He's just going to be hunting for Attach. See Attach with the PO6, pulls it out, not able to connect with it. I think if you are FaZe, you've got to tell him, put the sniper away. It's just not working out for us. Let's just go with an AR SMG setup.
Yeah, and you know that little bit of delay in the shot, it's not as easy to peek that corner as is with something like an SVG or a Locust, right? A little bit easier to hit that, but he hasn't even had much of an angle on Ricky. I know that first time he wide peeked that, but with the grenade there, it makes that shot harder to hit when you know there's a grenade flying at your head, right?
Right, and you know he weakens those players with the nades and then pushes them back, able to just put down another burst with an M8 Ricky and then take out Attach. So not able to get down that BK, able to stay on board with Complexity on the offensive side. See if they can go up 4-0. Be a big lead for FaZe to come back from. Obviously, they talked about with Jack how this is one of their weaker S&Ds. You can see Ricky getting that first blood with the nades again. They're able to trade that kill out on the B bomb site with Enable. Ricky's going to fly in. He's going to pick up one. And this one looks like another round in favor of Complexity.
Yeah, they're blowing him out right now. I was sticking with Parasite because he was on a 3 streak. I think you have Nameless now on a 4 streak, and it's Clay all by himself. It's hard enough to hit the hip fire with an M8, much less when you're mantling over to top bridge. And Complexity, the boys looking strong. They are looking great in S&D. This is what you expected from them. This is where they needed to win it. And this isn't as maybe lopsided as something like we thought going into TSM Optic, but still, I guess I feel like if they're going to win this series, they have to win it in the S&Ds.
Yeah, they're going to have to win the S&Ds, obviously, and then they're going to have to figure out a way to win the uplink or the CTF. I don't think they're going to be able to win a hard point against this FaZe team. The one game mode I feel like they could potentially win is that CTF. So, see what Complexity does on the defensive side of things. I believe you're seeing an overdrive use out of one of their players as well, and it was actually Miracles who uses his overdrive going all the way on this flank. I don't think FaZe has any idea this is coming.
Well, let's see if he can get into a position quickly. He's got to just go, go, go. No one's going to be waiting for this early in the round. He's going to be able to get behind a couple players here. Do they check it? Nope. There is one. Gets the kill. Has the HC. Will finally get traded out. Actually, I'm going to go back to Nameless just because I think he's on a 4 streak. He's 100 off the dart. So if he can pick up a kill, that's going to just add to this arsenal you have for Complexity in trying to close out this game 2 and tie up the series.
Well, FaZe with the man advantage need to win this round, get some confidence for themselves moving forward in S&D. Obviously, you want to make the comeback in this one, but don't want to get swept 6-0. If that's the case, they're going to lose this one. You want some kind of confidence going into the next search and destroy. You see Nameless flying over the top, though, and now he gets the dart. It's going to be all tied up at 2 players apiece. He's going to go straight down underneath the bridge. Such a dangerous spot. It's going to just try and bait players out off of that bomb site. And once he sees nobody, he has to know they're playing it from different spots. He's going to challenge Attach. Attach going to win the gunfight, though. It's going to be a 2v1. Ricky, one of the best S&D players we have in the Pro Division, against 2 members of FaZe.
Well, I'm trying to see who's going to have the back angle that's actually going to be enabled. He has Heat Wave if needed. He's not going to win that, so all of a sudden it's Ricky. And he... Oh my god, for a second I thought he was just going to stick it. He uses Vision Pulse, knows right where he is. He can see right when he's pushing. Perfectly played by Ricky. That was textbook stuff. As, uh-oh. 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 He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He does not have it. What was that?
Not exactly sure. Well, it's going to be FaZe getting around on the board.
All right, well, hey, let's get a round of applause for FaZe.
Yeah, they win the round. Yeah.
I have no idea what I just saw. Did his hand spasm? Did his controller, like, drop onto the floor?
Not sure, but regardless, it's going to be FaZe winning a round. So a poorly played 2v1 scenario turns into a win for FaZe.
You know,
a little bit of luck.
He wanted to give FaZe a chance.
Yeah.
Nice guy, Ricky. Just wanted to give him a little bit of breathing room.
Oh, they lose that round. He uses his Vision Pulse as well. It's an unfortunate situation for Complexity.
What happens now if FaZe comes back? I mean, you got to be thinking about that. Right?
We saw in the H2K versus Team Liquid one the other day. It was Apathy who picked up a gun instead of grabbing the bomb, and you see Zuma's going to get first blood, and we see time and time again, you know, Complexity, things go bad, they just start to spiral out of control. You got to hope for their sake, you know, to get this map on the board. They get one thing to go right during the rest of these rounds, gain that momentum back, but it's going to be Ricky, the only one alive with that dart.
And he might be able to pick up one, but not able to connect yet. He gets the hit marker, but it's now Ricky by himself. Now, do you think that really aggressive defensive push from FaZe was because they knew about the dart? Now, Ricky, all right, well, you don't know how to defuse bombs, but apparently you know how to clutch. The 1v3 potential is here. He's got a 3 streak. He's 9-3. 35 seconds on the clock, but you can see bomb down and spawn. He's going to have to rotate back for that one, and the timing is going to be so crucial here. Attach tags him up. Ricky wants to challenge. He's feeling very confident. What are his options here? Does he have to go towards B at this point?
He has to. I mean, there's really no way he's going to make it over towards the A bomb site. And Attach, one of the better 1v1 players we have in competitive Call of Duty, just playing this perfectly. Ricky?
And Attach guesses wrong. He's going to check A, so Ricky's going to get it down. He has the chance to redeem himself for
that 1v3.
That goofy last round that we saw. But like you said, I mean, Ricky's one of the best S&D players in the game. Attach, I believe, one of the better 1v1 players who will come out on top. Let's watch it from Attach's POV. I know Ricky has come up clutch, but I want to see him try to pick up this kill and get the defuse. And he wraps right behind, playing mind games with Ricky. And there it is, back-to-back rounds. And Ricky has come up big. Both rounds, but fell apart in the first. The positioning, you know, that's tough there. He has no idea where Attach is going to come from, but despite the fact, he falls short in both rounds.
Yeah, Attach going to get the defuse, and it's the momentum going in FaZe's favor, and you see Clay just yelling down the line, getting his teammates fired up. Complexity needs something to go their way. They need somebody to make a huge play. You thought it would have been Ricky that round, get them that momentum back, but Attach clutches this 1v1 scenario. This map is not over yet, Maven.
Oh, man, I just feel for Ricky right now in Complexity. It's tough to bounce back when something like that happens, but he almost did it. Almost clutches the 1v3. Just coming up a little short. Now it's going to be FaZe. Back to offense. Let's go to Zuma. He's 8-6. He struggled in 2 1v1s earlier in the series, but still putting on one hell of a performance. They look like they're going to be hitting across bridge towards A quickly. That player may have spotted him in the back. It looks like they did as they have backed up. One player going to be soaring in through window. Not going to be able to win it. That's Attached, dropping almost immediately. Next man in might be Enable, but let's check Zuma. Who's got the dart out? I think it's Nameless. Yeah, Nameless has the dart out now. That 2 players have dropped, though, and they're going to be pushing him in the back soon enough. They've got to be aware he's there. They knew a dart was out. Can you win the fight? Zuma comes up with a big one. Double digits for him. 2 kills in this one as well. Overdrive locked and loaded for the next one, and they've got to know with that dart, Ricky's somewhere in the back. They're going to find him, and the gunfight not coming in, though. I'm sorry, Nameless in the back. He's able to take one. Can he clutch the 1v2?
Nope, he's going to get flanked by Clay. 3 rounds straight in favor of FaZe.
What is
Complexity
happening?
uses both darts. I believe Ricky has an HC and Nameless has an HC left in terms of score streaks. Now in terms of specialists, I think we can actually cycle through some of the players. I believe you'll have Zuma with an overdrive. Enable uses his heat wave that round to get a kill up on the top platform. But let's see, On the side of FaZe, you have just Zuma with Overdrive. You're getting close to a kinetic again. And that's really about it. On the side of Complexity, it's just Nameless getting that kinetic armor just now. And Parasite working on Heatwave. Now, you don't know when they're going to use those HCs, but...
Now, it looks like Nameless is going to opt to go with this towards B, and that's attached. He's staring right down the bridge, going to be able to clean that up. We got a little bit of information for Complexity.
Right, and what I was going to say is FaZe in these rounds, that Complexity has used all of their streaks. They've been able to win it, and Nameless going to use that kinetic armor, push down the B bridge. It's a long day here, Maven, and he's going to get really nice position behind the B bomb site. Has his teammate following it up, should be able to get the bomb down.
But the kinetic doesn't turn into any kill, so it's going to be out of juice now. You have one player all the way in the back. Ricky going to be in the position flying on through. They've stacked this side pretty darn heavily. One player right underneath Nameless. He's going to see him for just a second, but he's going to get baited there. The little bait and switch. Parasite with the Heatwave connects, will be taken out from behind, and now it's a 2 versus 2. Make it a 2-on-1. Enable soars in. Now a 1v1. Ricky, you've had so many chances here to clutch. Can you get it done this time? Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. This is the worst! Ricky's gonna lose his damn mind! Nothing can go right for him! All these clutch situations!
You gotta feel for the guy. I mean, he's been playing out of his mind here. Double positive, 10-5, and it's just those clutch rounds that have not gone in his favor. The guys on cold just look crushed when I stare here from the stage, and it's a tie game at 4 rounds apiece. FaZe will not go away.
Ricky's 10-5 too,
no,
with 3 plants. Like, he's not playing bad. It's just these couple clutch situations which have just not gone his way at all.
Ricky has put this team in a position to win. I don't think you can really hold those few rounds against him.
No, he's flying right at Ricky. Fly right at Ricky. Ricky.
Oh,
but
Ricky wins the gunfight. A huge win there by Ricky, taking out Zuma, flying at him on the bomb site. Fantastic shots there by Ricky to hold that off on the defensive end.
How does he win that, man? You feel like he's going to be shook because of these rounds. Nothing phasing him. I mean, that's something. Zuma soaring in after using Overdrive. That's a gunfight he should win 9 out of 10 times, right? But Ricky clutching up at close range with the M8. Incredible stuff. But we've got a 4v4, a 4-4 game, 3 versus 3, 45 seconds on the clock. Who's going to clutch up?
Especially with Ricky looking all the way down the bridge. You're not expecting to look through the waterfall. Miracles jumps up out of water. Clay is able to take him out. Had no idea that player was going to be playing in this position. Now FaZe with that man advantage. Let's see what they decide to do with it.
Well, I think Parasite just saw the rotation from Attach. The question is, will Attach look back at this flank at any point? If not, he's going to get caught, but he might get around the corner just in time. He's just chasing him. It's cat and mouse, and there it is. We're down to a 2-on-2. Let's get back to Ricky at A. The bomb has been planted. He's going to be in the back. The pinch possible here for him and Parasite. Vision Pulse just went out. I believe that was from Clayster, so they've got an idea where it's coming from. The call-out, though, not going to matter. Clay, all by his lonesome, going up against Ricky and Parasite. There have been so many clutch opportunities. None have been working for Complexity. Can the other side get it done? It's an opportunity for Clayster. You have the concussion in. There's one. Does he have time to do this? It's running short, buddy.
Now Ricky, yet again here, in this 1v1 scenario, has to hunt down Clay. Only 10 seconds left on the clock, and Clay is gonna clutch it against Ricky. Just 1v1 situations. You feel so bad for the guys on Complexity.
Did you ever see, what was that movie? Eternal Sunshine, Spotless Mind, that Jim Carrey movie where they went in and like they mess with their brain, they erase their memories.
I'm not really a fan of Jim
like
Carrey
Ricky's
movies.
going to that doctor.
Chobra's shaking his head.
Ricky's going to that doctor and getting this game just deleted from his memory.
I mean, he's played out. He's.
You need to see that film. Are you serious? You're the least cultured person I've ever seen.
It might be true, actually, outside of Revan. Revan's raising his hand, volunteering. And Ricky, though, I mean, 11-6. The guy has played so unbelievably here. But it's FaZe just answering back in a strong way here against Cole. Let's see if they can close it out. You see Enable with his HC out. I believe there's an HC out on the side of Complexity as well. And he's actually going to bring it into the building, almost be able to get 2. And Ricky is on the end of that one. Just a game that he definitely wants to forget. And you see Miracles with his HC. Straight down the mid lane, has a player directly in front of him. Miracle's able to take out Attach, so they trade those even with the cars.
This is Hot Wheels Wars.
Nice driving from both players, and now it's just a lot of decisions to be made up to Complexity as they take out Clay on the flank. Big shots putting down there by Nameless, but Zuma on the hunt as well. Zuma's going to get one, puts a lot of tags into Nameless, And Miracle's there to save him. For a second there, I thought Nameless was going to drop.
I thought he was for sure. Zuma couldn't pick it up, and now Enable has to clutch here to close out the game and take a 2-0 advantage in this series, but he's got two players, Miracles and Parasite, to go up against here. They are rotating over towards B. Unfortunately for them, Enable's going to be wrapping across. This timing could work out. I think even if he gets the kill, they're going to have enough time to get the plant again. Will he be able to pick up both? No. The plant is in. Did they see him cross?
I think that might be
planned. Oh my god, he has Heatwave. Oh my god, he has Heatwave. Where's the other player? He finds you. He turns. Does he have enough shot down? And Enable's going to clutch! Woo! The Red Baron with the Heatwave and the defuse. 4 in a row for Complexity. Not impressed. 6 in a row for FaZe.
We saw the same play earlier. A player with Heatwave waited until he got it, jumped up out of the water, killed the one on the site, and then popped this Heatwave. I believe it was TP, and turned around and killed that other player. Just so unfortunate for Complexity. A very tough loss. FaZe so strong with the comeback in map 2.
I'm speechless. That was one of the most absurd games ever. Chobra, it's all you, buddy.
Well, that last moment, I was sitting here. You can see Revan's face because Revan's, Enable can clutch this, and he goes, if he gets his Heatwave, and we're waiting, and the whole studio, we all got off our chairs because we saw what happened. He waited for the meter to fill. As soon as it fills, he jumps up because he saw the plan. He sees it go down, gets one. As soon as he hears that shot, the Heatwave goes off, and then he gets the kill.
That was ridiculous. There were so many moments. There were so many moments in that game where my heart was going back and forth. How is it going to be played? Ricky played a monster S&D and still lost 3 big 1v1s that should have gone, that could potentially have gone his way.
Jeez, like, he's not going to be able to forget that round with the failed defuse. I mean,
that is a game that stays in the back of your mind for
forever.
The rest of your life.
Yeah.
They were about to go up 5-0. They dropped the defuse after an insane 1v2, almost clutch from Ricky, and then FaZe go on to win 6 straight rounds.
Just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the thing is, right, the round after we see Ricky still going off, like he almost has it again, and he just doesn't pull through. Like, it's not able to. The entire team of Complexity seems to just fall apart after the loss, not being able to forget it. Because look at this. I mean, in the beginning, it was a Complexity show, right? Winning 4 rounds in a row pretty convincingly.
And this is what we mean by an inconsistent Complexity squad. There are days where they lose to one of the best teams in the game, and they go out to a hot 4-0 start. Then one thing goes wrong. They start arguing amongst themselves, not everything going their way, and it all falls apart in the end for them.
You saw Ricky's whole demeanor change after that happened. I mean, they went to the player shot of him, and he just looked so upset with himself there.
This is it right here.
There's a look at it. Drops it twice, no idea what happened, and from then on out, it just all fell apart for Complexity.
Yeah, it almost seemed like, because he had, 2.5 seconds when he first started, so maybe he just wants to have 1 extra second, because sure, like, getting a little bit more time on your meter is great, but then not able to get it in time, about off, like, not even half a second, I think, less than half a second, can't get the defuse, and now, suddenly, it's as if we're watching 2 separate games for highlights, right? Suddenly now it's all FaZe. FaZe Everett Clayster with a great clutch here, by the way. Just watching the timer and spamming that bomb set as soon as he comes up because he knows it's 10 seconds. If he gets the kill, great. If he dies, they probably don't have enough time. What a game. Match-winning play, not just because it was the last match.
That guy's pretty far away, too. He's across the bridge, still gets hit by that Heatwave. There's the reaction from Clayster. And, Jack, you were saying going into this one, talking with FaZe, this seemed like one of their worst search and destroy matches.
And looking at Complexity right now, you can just see that they don't look to have Miracles maybe trying to laugh it off a little bit, but we saw even an earlier shot, right? As soon as the match ends, you saw them just talking it out, but not in terms of a peaceful talk. You could see them kind of ranting it out after that 6 run from FaZe.
Yeah, that was not a fun one at all if you're a Complexity fan. Thankfully, it is a best of 7. They're not now just 1 map away from being knocked out.
Next.
It definitely is an uplink up next, and on a map like Breach, we've seen what is possible of these FaZe Clan guys, wondering how they wind up playing this one out.
Yeah, now you're down 2-0 when you're Complexity, right? You thought you were going to get that momentum back. You thought you were going to even up the scoreboard, and also S&D's your best mode in terms of a team. Complexity loves to play Search and Destroy.
Throughout the stage 1, Complexity really relied on their Search and Destroy. How many Game 5s did they win to carry them to a top 8 finish in the standings? But here, that one drop the fuse, and now, as you're saying, the whole demeanor on that Complexity lineup changes.
Yeah, and so going into this uplink, we'll see if Complexity can pick up the pieces, put it back together to get into the series and make it a series, maybe even going all the way to Game 7 because they'll need it. Meanwhile, FaZe is going to be feeling pretty good. Looking at the Bans Protects, 3 abilities being banned out from the specialists. A little bit different from some of the earlier matches we've seen. Some of the earlier ones, we focus a lot on the tacticals, but right now, we had a lot of tacticals being played out, of course, in the search and
At
destroy.
least one tactical is going to make it through, depending on what Zuma decides to ban
Last time they
here.
elected to just, it was in the same scenario, they elected to just ban EMPs instead of going for either of the two tacticals.
Yep.
Wondering if they elect that again here.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they do go with the concussion. Okay, so
I mean, it is uplink, right?
Yeah, they do
Concussions
change
play a
it.
big role here. So taking that out in the search and destroy, they utilize concussions a lot. You saw a lot of just stuns going out, especially from Clayster, just to kind of scout out a room and then make the play.
Right, the reason I think they ban out the concussion is because that's one thing that'll actually slow down your movement. At least when you're flashed, if the flash doesn't fully hit you, you could still kind of see and you could still move around, to the full effect. Whereas if you get hit with a concussion, you're not going to move for a good amount of time.
Yeah, you don't want that momentum to stop when you're playing uplink. We've talked about uplink on Breach specifically a lot before in terms of breaking down how to make that fast lane happen for yourselves. And now taking a look at the specialists being dragged out, Psychosis showing up on both sides, trying to play a little bit of that mind game against their opponents.
All right, we've seen Psychosis a little bit throughout this weekend. This could be a rough map for it. Time and time again, we see players pop Psychosis and the clones just run right off the map.
Yeah, well, it does. It makes a lot of sense, though, with Heatwave, Overdrive, and Active Camo all banned out. You still want to have an ability for your team.
All right, well, as we're waiting for the teams to set up their class and see which one's going to take map 3, Jack, I know you have a bit of a special point you want to make, especially when it comes to FaZe playing uplink on this map.
Yeah, we've seen 2 maps so far, right? Fringe, you can't really fall off of.
What's going on
Hunted,
there?
you can't really fall
That's
off.
a little crazy.
I've done you all the pleasure of pointing out every place where Clayster can fall off the map on this map because you expect it to happen here. It's a lot of different spots. I mean, all those circles represent an area where he can fall off. We've seen it a lot throughout this stage, but no, obviously just poking some fun at him. On this map, the thing I want to highlight this time around is what we saw last series, which was a major play on this map. How map positioning is something that you need to not only battle for, but also make a play on this map. Obviously, the objective, the drone in top middle. We saw last game what plagued Elevate was they got 4 players in great positions when they were trying to score on the portal on this side of the map. They had a player inside Broken, player top green, another player all the way in the opposing team's base, and then one guy bouncing around in top middle, top Broken as well. They had all 4 players pushed up, but over the overextension, you wound up seeing the opposing team just spawn up all down by Palace. They just pushed on through. They got the 1 kill in top middle right around this position and just flooded the drone forward once they grabbed it. You need to see these 2 teams recognize a situation like that developing, retake control of middle map before they get too far pushed up. If they can do that, they'll definitely give themselves a good opportunity to rally this objective.
Right, it's important when you get that ideal setup going. You need to watch the overextension. Don't give your opponents a chance to come back and break out of that spawn trap.
Yeah, to some extent, because you have to accept when you get that ideal scenario and you get that fast lane set up, you're all overextended if you think about it objectively, and that 1 kill can make all the difference. We saw it earlier, like you said, it led to, 5 extra points, I think, maybe 4?
Yep.
On the other side, and suddenly you're like, shoot, we were so close to making the comeback, and now there's no way we make it.
It went from a 2-possession game in 30 seconds, it was a 4-possession game, and that's what ended that map.
Yeah, so a little scary. I mean, again, there's a lot on the line going in. Sometimes you feel that pressure. You can get a little ahead of yourselves as a team, but we'll see. This time, Spotlight's still in complexity. They need 1 win to stop the momentum of FaZe, bring this to a longer game so they have another shot at a couple of search and destroys later in the best of 7. Going into this uplink on Breach, it's going to be Maven and Mr. X calling the action.
All right, thank you, boys. Now, you mentioned, even before this series started, before the first game, that Complexity is a team that can crumble when the going gets tough. After that map, is there a better definition of that?
No, and they don't get an easy draw here. It's a Breach uplink. FaZe undefeated in it during stage 1. They go 5-0 on this map mode combination. Complexity 1-4. So this is one of their weaker, if not their weakest. I don't know some of the other maps, their uplinks. This is going to be a tough one for them to win.
All right, well, we're going to be kicking things off here with that man, Clayster. We'll see if he's able to stay on the map. As much as Jack is joking, it has been a theme throughout stage 1.
I joked with, what is going on? He just kind of brushed it off.
Yeah, he's like, his movement leaves much to be desired. But here we go. First side, game 3. It is going to be a 2-0 lead in the series right now for FaZe. Clayster going to be holding that power position up at top AC. His teammates doing the rest. That's Zuma picking up a couple kills, and he's pushing straight into bottom Broken. Unfortunately, the rest of his team dying around him. Now you've got the spawn coming in for Palace due to his presence there. And the fact that he pushed through bottom Broken kind of gave them a spawn closer mid-map, and this might open things up for them.
Yeah, Complexity just got to win a few gunfights here, and they could potentially get a 1-point toss-off, and they win a lot. And they could be, if they get this one around the corner, they could potentially get in for a 2-point. And Parasite able to win the gunfight. see a teammate's going to pick up the drone. It's going to be in the hands of Nameless. He's going to be able to bring that win in for a dunk. Really nice start there for Complexity.
Yeah, incredible stuff there. The hip fire connects with the face around the corner. A little bit of luck, a little bit of magic, but it leads to a dunk. Enable has a lead blocker. He's trying to push outside of Palace here. 1 point toss seems to be open, but he may want to go for more. Realizes there's one more player in the back. Wisely takes the 1 point shot and flushes it through.
Now, something when they switch the AR role from Clay to from Enable to Clay.
Hello.
You see Clay going to get a melee kill there with the drone. Is I feel like with Enable, he's a great slayer with the assault rifle, right? I feel like Clay with the assault rifle helps the teammates out a little bit more because he knows how to play for those spawns, right? Enable's never been a guy who's been the anchor on a team. He's always been a guy who's going to push out, slay, get as many kills. And I feel like when they switch those roles, you kind of saw Attach even start to play a little bit better.
Well, to be fair, I mean, since he's been playing Call of Duty, the term anchor hasn't really been a thing for the most part due to changes in game types or due to how Hardpoint kind of worked in Advanced Warfare, but that's going to be a dunk going on through for FaZe. Early dunk for Complexity has now been completely countered and erased. FaZe now starting to roll. They want to wrap this one through Palace. He's got two players out front leading the way. We'll see how this plays out as Parasite clutches up to at least slow this down. Is he going to go for the deep toss way up high? Will the bounce come through? Nope, that's caught by Ricky.
Ricky's going to catch it, and they're actually going to bring this one straight through Palace. And see, he's got two teammates directly in front of him. One player on the Complexity side of thing going to be flanking towards that middle of the map. That's going to be Parasite. He's going to pick up one. So now Clay knows there's another player behind him. He's going to miss a lot of shots with the RK5. Ricky, though, gets caught by Attach. Attach picks up a big two-piece in the drone down in such a bad position. It looks like FaZe able to get a rotation back to their base to play some good defense.
Yeah, there may be a 1 point chance still. Yeah, it's over the top. Look accurate to me, but it's actually going to miss. Goes out the back. Attach has it. Attach is now resetting. Nobody mid-map as Clayster picks up the kill. Control will remain for FaZe with a 2 point advantage here. Now we talk about, tell me a little bit about the kind of preferred side versus the weaker side on this map. Who is starting out? How do you feel about the scoreline of 4-2 right now?
Well, I think you feel pretty good about it if you're Complexity, and it's interesting. We talk about the preferred side versus the weak side, and FaZe right now you would say is playing on the preferred side, but we've seen some nice scores from the so-called weaker side today. In some of the series earlier, I remember we saw some dunks, we saw some tie games going into the half, so we've seen it balance out a little bit here on Atlanta.
Well, the drone's going to end up resetting, Matt. It's attached there mid-map with Kinetic. His teammates doing all the dirty work as they pick up the kills. That's Enable picking up one more, and that is a clear base. His Attach is going to flush one more through. 6-2 the score. FaZe looking to bury this Complexity roster.
If you blow up the mini-map, Maven, you can see they have that perfect setup we were talking about earlier. Attach in front of Enable. He's going to try and bait out some shots here. He's going to get taken out by Parasite, but gives Enable enough time to bring that in for a 2 point play.
And look where the other two players are. They're bottom broken and mid-map, ready to keep this going. Complexity is on their back foot right now. They cannot control the pressure of FaZe as they are running away with this one. FaZe too strong.
Now Clay's going to get into a nice spot, going to go for a 1 point throw from a long distance. He's going to miss that, and is there anyone able to get into the Complexity base? It's going to be Nameless. Just a player coming over from half wall. He's got to get it off, and a smart play there by Nameless not to run it out. And yeah, Zuma was coming pretty quick.
He got cleaned up almost as soon as he got that one off. This is the first time we've kind of seen a player at mid-map right now for the side of Complexity. It's Ricky. He has some help there from Miracles. Going to grab this drone. You really want to get some points on the board here in the final 40 seconds. Try to bring this one just a little bit tighter. Miracles is going to be the man in front with kinetic armor, leading the way. Weakens one, picks up one, shuts down Clayster's Tempest. Can they get points on the board? Ricky's going to try to get through, but there's so much pressure. He wants the dunk, has to go for one, and that interception was very, very nearly a thing, but there's still time for a counter. Clayster's grab it. He grabbed it. He's going to go topside. He's got Enable out front. He's going to be able to push here. This should be a guaranteed 1 point opportunity.
He's going to go.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
Fantastic play by Miracles from behind.
Nice stuff. They keep it at 5. Well, actually, no, yeah, he doesn't have time to get to it. Drone down, but not going to be able to get around to it. 8-3 will be the advantage. FaZe leading the series 2-0. Primed and in position here to take a 3-0 advantage.
Yeah, I think FaZe smells blood in the water, so to speak, man. Yeah. I think they're out for blood here. They know they have Complexity on their heels. A team that very emotional after a tough S&D loss with a big comeback by FaZe. I think they know they win this map, they can kind of put the nail in the coffin in game 4.
I agree with you completely. Only thing I can say the Complexity can do is just somehow sneak away, I guess, a map win. If they can get a win under their belt, kind of forget those first 2 games, give themselves a chance. But yeah, the more FaZe keeps rolling like this, Complexity is just not going to be able to get anything going.
See how the beginning of this map starts. It's going to be important for Ricky to hold this position at top AC. Doesn't want players from FaZe flooding into their lab and enable and attach, win some gunfights, and he's the only one left. You see the nades come flying in, but he does a good job not backing down, forcing that drone to go all the way over by Brick's side, and now his teammates, he's just going to rely on them on the right side of the map to win some gunfights, and it's going to hold down at mid position. You see Miracles, though, on the right-hand side, the one we were talking about. Zuma's going to win 2 fights with the Scythe. Nameless now with the Annihilator in hand. He's going to be able to get one.
He still
picks
gets
up
it
the
off.
second, but he gets it off just in time. It's going to be a 1-point play.
That's a quick shot there around the corner. The quick release makes sure the Nameless can't get that Annihilator shot off in time. 1 more point on the board, but now you've got drone control for the side of Complexity. They're wrapping up top. The first person to play a little bit of defense here is going to be Enable. Tags up 1, backs away, eventually will fall. Let's look on with the drone carrier for a little bit here, see what Complexity can get done.
Is it just me, or Complexity playing pretty passive here? Like when FaZe had the drone, and obviously it's just the way FaZe kind of plays naturally. You see Zuma flying at the opposing team, attach as well. And you know, Complexity has some players who can do that. Miracles can get aggressive, Parasite can as well. It just seems playing way too slow when they get control of the drone. They need to go and make decisions. Even when they're trying to bring it in from the first half of the game, it was just really slow to get anything to develop.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more, man. What Complexity do differently? How can they come back in this one? One map win can really do it for them. Is it really just that slow, passive gameplay? Is that what has to change here?
Yeah, I think, you know, if you're Complexity, you can have a guy like Miracles. You've got to get him fired up and playing really aggressive in the opposing team's face. I feel like that's when he's at his best, and it just opens up lanes for the rest of the team.
Very, very true. I could not agree with you more. Ricky's got it now. They have a chance here to maybe narrow this margin a little bit. He's got a player out front, his lead blocker trying to pick up kills, but unfortunately, I think it's dropping to Enable and Attach as they get some kills, and just like that, he's having to retreat, go back to mid-map. Drone's back off spawn, and it's in Ricky's hands again.
Well, let's see if they can make anything happen with it. I mean, he just brings it over by Palace. He's getting tagged up from so many players, has to turn around, challenge one. He's going to be able to take Enable out on top mid-hut. You see he's going to win a gunfight there. Verse play, not able to take Zuma out. And that's the difference between these two teams, right? Ricky picks up 2 kills. Looks like Complexity could get the drone, move up. There's nobody there. And by the time players do get to that position, Zuma's flying in, picking up a 2-piece. It's Attached, picking up a 2-piece. It's just really been the difference in this game.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. They just need a little bit more effective slaying in front, too. And when they do get those kills, they need to take advantage of it. And look how spread out they are right now. Attached is able to run right up the middle. He's guaranteed a 1-point opportunity. He might be able to go for more if his teammate can pick up some kills. He just goes over the top, but there's the interception. That's Parasite going big for his team, making sure this margin does not exceed 6. They've got just under 2 minutes to go. Certainly still in it. We've seen crazier things happen over the course of the weekend, but it is not going to be an easy task here.
Well, the drone down in a bad spot, and you see Enable set up, block players off. He's actually able to take out one with his HC, but you see there's a player over by cages. They have enough.
That's a deep one.
That's a very deep 1-point throw. He's going to connect with it over the building. I actually thought they could have potentially tried to force a 2-point play there and really put the nail in the coffin, but see Clay going for that 1-point throw. He's going to win another gunfight in the middle of the map with the RK5. And a minute 20 to go, 7-point lead.
You can play keep away.
Looks pretty good for FaZe.
You can do whatever you want at this point. Go for 1-point tosses. Just play keep away with the drone. Apparently get into a boxing match at AC. I have no idea who he's alive. He almost picks up the kill and Enable.
That was just ugly altogether. It was ugly from Enable, ugly from the other player who just ran away. Didn't want us to see who it was.
No, I wish I wasn't on with him during that because it didn't look pretty.
Yeah, no. But the game overall looking pretty from FaZe. I mean, a pretty dominant win and a map mode combination you expected them to continue that success on.
Well, 7-point lead, 45 seconds. This one's all but over, and that's a Tempest for Clayster coming in. It was a difference maker, and the hard point doesn't have much of an impact here, but nonetheless, I mean, there weren't a lot of big play moments. It was kind of a methodical effort on the first side from FaZe where they really took advantage. Big performance from all the guys, and they're able to take this one.
It's not looking good for Complexity either, as I mean, they get a 2-point play there at the end, but FaZe undefeated in Stronghold, CTF, Complexity, they've only gotten 1 map win in that, and it was in the final second, so not a strong map win as well. Very dangerous for them going into this next one.
It certainly is. 10 seconds left on the clock. I mean, they just don't have enough time. Complexity finally looks good, finally gets the train going a little bit, but it's one of those cases of too little, too late. Not going to be enough time to get it done, and FaZe going to take a 3-0 advantage in this one. And I hear we actually do have Ashley on stage. Let's toss it over to her.
You guys, I wish those of you watching at home could be in this room right now. The energy is insane, specifically coming from Clayster, who you've definitely seen screaming. So I'm going to see if I can get a word with him right now. How are you doing? You've been screaming your head off. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. This is the first time I've ever done an interview in the middle of a match, so feeling a little weird, but feeling good going into this fourth map.
Oh, I like to make people feel weird, so that's good. How are you going to make sure you secure this win?
Just keep doing what we're doing. They can't hang with us. They can only win by forfeiting us, so we'll see how it goes.
Shade. There, you heard it. All right. Well, I'm going to... Thanks so much. You know what? Let's leave it at that. I'm going to take it back to Will. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ashley, and Clayster, shooting the bullets, shooting the words.
Bruh, dude, that was insane right there from Clay.
Hey, man, speaking
that
of
was 8 weeks ago.
Savage.
He's been thinking of that moment for the last 8 weeks since that whole ordeal happened.
Agree or not, but respect for speaking his heart out. You know, he's been sticking to it.
Just we were talking about, the rivalry coming into this match, and you could see clearly Clay was thinking about it. And 8 weeks ago, as you were saying, still in the back of his mind.
It's ironic that the next map is going to be Stronghold too.
Yeah, going with that CTF, but it's going to be on Stronghold, so the memory is going to kick back in for both teams. But let's talk. I mean, obviously, Clayster looks very convinced, and especially in this uplink. I mean, over as a team, I think the commentators pointed out, it wasn't that there was like this super big moment that completely changed the tide. It was just FaZe was winning, from beginning to end. They just had the tempo from start to finish.
It's no secret. Uplink is by far Complexity's worst game mode. You didn't really expect them to take that off of FaZe. I mean, Revan really touched on that prior to that game starting on up. Clayster did a good job of staying on the map, and it was really just a normal day at work for FaZe in that map, right? And nothing too crazy happened.
And it's weird because look at the scoreboard. Clay's like 9-18, but FaZe are up by 6 points. When it comes to uplink for Complexity, it's never been about their slang. It's been about their objective work and how they move the drone forward up the map. It just seems like they don't preemptively push out the lane right, and they don't kind of hold the hand of the drone carrier forward.
All right, well, as we mentioned, it's going to be the capture the flag coming up next, and look at that. 3 FaZe banners coming down. It's going to be FaZe leading 3-0, and a lot of it perhaps because of that one round on that Search and Destroy and Hunted.
Yeah, that's going to haunt Complexity in this one. I mean, and I'm going to wind up breaking down the map a little bit later on in the Ban and Protect as well, but this one for me has FaZe win 4-0 written all over it now after the first 3 games.
I think you talk about, Complexity maybe being on tilt right now. As you're saying, they dropped the defuse, proceed to lose 6 straight rounds. But, I mean, look at these scores. They're all very close games. Complexity have been in each and every game. They haven't really been kind of blown out of the water just yet.
Yeah.
But just you could trace each game back to one key moment.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, for instance, look at the hard point, right? That was neck and neck, and it kind of always has been for these teams. But then you finish, and when you think back, you kind of only remember the moments for FaZe because at the end of the day, it was their energy that carries them through, and they clutch it out. They get that win. Search and Destroy, again, the score was close, and if anything, it was Complexity almost kind of securing that win. Weren't able to do so, and now what do we talk about? We talk about that moment that Complexity lost that clutch with the failed defuse, and then we see Enable, the last play of the game, getting that 1v2 clutch. I mean, the scores are close, but at the end of the day, it's FaZe memories going all out.
Yeah, I mean, and it's because they're being the playmakers right now. They're getting it done. They're making the flashy stuff happen, and it shows in their energy. It shows in the scores in the games, and overall, it's the reason why they're up 3-0 in this series. You even heard Clayster say it. He thinks these guys can't hang with them, and they're proving it right now.
I think FaZe are a really good CTF team, so coming into this next map, I'm going to have to agree with you there. This is looking like it's going to be a 4-0 in favor of FaZe.
I don't mean to play spoilers or anything, but at the same time, we've seen it happen reversely in the past so far this weekend.
Yep.
What are the chances of that realistically in this matchup?
So obviously CTF is one that can play a little bit differently compared to the other respawn game modes. If Complexity can keep their communication in, if they can obviously count very well, utilize maybe something in the Ban and Protect to throw them off. The silver lining here for Complexity, if they win this one, 2 of the last 3 maps are S&D. They've always been very good in the final S&D of series. It's the reason why they got into the top 8 in stage 1 with their 6-2 game 5 record. And then you add in that they did hold their own to the hard point. If they can wind up taking that next one on evac, then who knows? I mean, Complexity, they're not out of it yet, but it's going to be tough.
Right. Again, this is a must-win just because they have to. Otherwise, they're out. It's a best of 7. FaZe up 3-0. And speaking of 3-0s, I mean, so far in the Call of Duty World League, FaZe has a 3-0 record right here, capture the flag on Stronghold. So they're coming in pretty confident. They have that streak going for the match, and also, you know, that search and destroy, they started there with the energy, carried it all the way through the first half of that uplink. FaZe definitely not scared in this 4th game.
Yeah, it's a good point that Jack brings up too, that, you know, 2 of the 3 maps after this are going to be search and destroy. Complexity have relied on their search and destroy game for quite some time, but I'm just like, you know, if I was on this Complexity team after that, you know, one drop the fuse, I think I kind of get a little bit frustrated as well. You know, maybe start arguing amongst themselves and, you know, go back to that Complexity team video. You see our one weakness is ourselves. Sometimes we butt heads a little bit. I think that's what's going on right here.
The good news is they know. The good news is they're self-aware.
They've known for quite
there.
some time.
That is the bad news. Among the good news is that they know it. It's just the solution hasn't come up yet. But which player are we looking at then to kind of pull it all back together? Or is it they just all have to do it at the same time?
I got to be looking at Nameless to try to be, you know, maybe like the leader of the team and, you know, round the troops together, rally behind Nameless. So look for Nameless at the start of the CTF to, you know, make a big opening play. If they could get some momentum behind him, I wouldn't put it past Complexity to take this map.
I'm going to go out right and say it. They need their communication to no complaints, no complaining. I don't care if you thought a kill should have gone in your way. I don't care if you think someone made a dumb play at FaZe, but they caught you off guard by it, so you call them out. No. The only communications you want to have is when you're either complimenting your teammates or calling out where the opponents are and how many are dead. You need comms to be clear. You can't put yourselves on tilt. You're down 3-0. You win a CTF. You're going to an S&D. You could potentially be right back in the series down 3-2.
So sunshine, rainbows, and daisies all around.
Oh, a lot of them.
Not the image I usually picture when I think about Complexity, but that's what we're going to need, that positivity flowing in. As cheesy as it sounds, when it's, you know, make it or break it, sometimes you got to go the extra lengths to just pull it all back together, put the pieces back together, put the mirror on the wall, and then look at it and tell yourself that you're the best because you need to now win 4 maps in a row, and that's a lot of pressure to stay in the league.
Oh, certainly, and already into the ban and protect on this one between FaZe and Complexity. Off the start, it's Clayfire.
I think Complexity need to do something special here. Maybe they go to ban maybe like a blast suppressor. They need to do something to throw FaZe off their game. Right now, all the momentum is in their favor, and you know it looks like they're going to help them out by banning flashbangs.
Yeah, getting rid of that X Factor themselves. But I think you're right, Complexity. We talked about it in the beginning of the match too. You two have mentioned how they usually are the team that likes to experiment a little bit with throwing the surprise, the curveballs around in these protects and bans. We'll see if they have anything up their sleeves. I mean, you got to imagine coming into this weekend, knowing that it's best of 7 single eliminations, knowing that you might be out in the quarterfinals, that you have to have that one trick up your sleeves, all teams, right? If we get
that's what we
push comes to
expected.
shove.
We thought teams were, you know, saving strategies. I thought there was going to be a lot of like perk greed bans or some specific things targeted, but so far things have been pretty standard, and I got to say these ban and protects have to favor FaZe.
Yep, that concussion ban coming out at the end by Attach. Once again, they want to favor that if they're in the lead, they're able to keep their momentum rather than being stalked by a surprise concussion coming over the wall. Now looking at the specialist draft, I mean, again, it's just Overdrive and X-Cam with the usual suspects being banned out, so I don't think we're going to expect anything too crazy out of here. Heatwave, of course, going to be a big one, and Clayster still sticking with the Tempest.
It'll probably be a Tempest on Clayster. Naval will go for Heatwave, Zuma will pick up Scythe, and Attach probably with Kinetic Armor.
All right, well, calling it all down the line. The Kinetic Armor coming out for Parasite on the other side. Ooh, Scythe on Zuma. Now I'm excited to see what Attach picks up for FaZe, and it is going to be that Kinetic Armor. And it might just be a mirror back and forth. We'll see. I mean, Ricky, will he pick up something else here? Or will it be another weapon?
He could go for the Annihilator. He's actually going to go with Vision Pulse here. And Vision Pulse is a specialist ability I really love seeing be used.
All right, yeah, it does give you a lot of information and also just some mind games to be played around that. Work around the map. Well, it is going to be on Stronghold. Jack, this time, what are your keynotes?
We started this series talking about Attach, and I'm going to potentially end the series talking about Attach. This map, Stronghold CTF, I think he is one of the best players on this map in game mode we've seen throughout the COD World League Stage 1, and I highlighted obviously the 2 flag areas and the mansion. That's going to be Attach's house on this one. He'll be in that area throughout this entire map, and why I highlight it is because he loves to play the certain corners in this one. He'll either be sitting top bedroom, waiting for a player to jump in through that window. He'll be sitting in the corner of tables, waiting for a push to come in through lab, or playing that kitchen and white car area. Now, what makes Attach so good on this map is he knows when it's time for him to either A, stay passive and wait for the push to come in, or B, go for a potential flank around outskirts to get into the opposing team's base to try to pull their flag on out. It's all about mind games with attach. Even on the other side of things, obviously Nade shot earlier, wasn't expecting to see smokes get brought out in CTF on this map. It was brought out in one of the 2 matches we saw. FaZe and Complexity are both teams who like to use them. Smokes in this can be very useful. You block out the player sitting in that back power position. You use them to try to cut off this flag area, get a pull on out. Watch attach to be the X factor on this map for FaZe.
Is that the new FaZe mansion I've been hearing so much about? The new FaZe team house right now?
I mean, I don't know if they got in a place where there's snow, but it definitely is a nice place to live.
Well, you talked about the smokes, and especially with concussions and flashbangs being banned out, that's going to be something that helps throw curveballs at the other teams. They say a picture speaks more than 1,000 words, but Jack, as you mentioned in your illustration, FaZe up seems to be the theme right now going into this 4th map. It's 3-0 in favor of FaZe Clan. Can they close it out? It kind of, it started with the hard point for sure, but it really came up in that search and destroy, and now the energy is full on in their favor. There's a lot of FaZe fans in the studio. Complexity has to show up if they want to make. You can hear them. Anytime I mention FaZe, I just hear cheers. I feel so great because now it makes my job easy. I just have to talk about FaZe Clan if I want the studio to get loud. But Complexity needs to step it up. We'll find out. It's going to be map 4 in our last quarterfinal with Maven and Mr. X.
FaZe up 3-0 in this series right now, commanding fashion. Dude, I know. I love the thing I love about live sports when you have kind of those live mid-game interviews during timeouts.
You get the real
you talk to a coach,
you get the emotion.
They don't always want to do it, but you get their instinct, you get their gut feeling. That stuff from Clayster was fire, man. You hear the passion there.
Look
You're
at
seeing
Tommy.
the fans.
Tommy is like,
I don't even know how to do the FaZe up thing. I feel like I'd break my finger.
I feel
tried.
like teaming with Tommy would be the easiest thing. Like high pressure situations, he's just chilling there, like hanging out.
I'm all good.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's all good in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Is that what you young folks are saying?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Jack. Anyway, it's going to be FaZe with a chance to close out Complexity. Complexity, a pretty tough opponent, though. Don't expect them to go down easy. We saw an incredible game during the regular season where it was Miracles scoring a flag in the final seconds. I believe you casted that with Revan.
Oh yeah, that was insane. But that was back when you had that G slide. He made the craziest run ever.
And when Jack talking about attach, he's very difficult to deal with on this map. Obviously, one of the more talented SMG players we have in the game, so kind of neutrals that fact that this map very difficult for SMG players. He's able to gun those MA players down at a distance.
Well, they've picked up a couple kills on the side of Complexity now. They can continue to open things up. You see Nameless being very, very patient. But how many big plays? Remember that Optic series? How many deciding caps came because that one player that got through bunker as a push was developing and they were able to pick up a couple clutch kills. We'll see if
well,
he
just
can
look
do
at
the
the
same
mini-map. I mean, blow it up. Nobody wants to go anywhere. I mean, you got one player crossing the middle of the map. And if you are FaZe, you're okay with this. I mean, you think Complexity has the better chance to score a flag from this side. You got to play a little bit slower. And you see Parasite gets into top mansion. He's going to pick up one kill. You see Nameless now going to grab another. But we're not seeing anyone move up the map. It's quite odd. I mean, on the side of Complexity, this is a side that you expect to score flags on.
Yeah, this is where you have to do your damage, right? You need to pick up a cap or two. Do not want to go in tied up, but they're going to deal with this player in the back to be Clayster, just waiting patiently there at back van. He's going to be a nuisance. On the other side, he's going to be playing at back rock. He's going to be a thorn in the side of Complexity. It's making it so difficult for them to be aggressive.
See Clay just watching over towards Mansion. Those players are potentially pushing through there, and it's 3 down for FaZe. You see Enable coming off the spawn through bunker, and you see that first player immediately going to hit that overextension, knows that there's no chance he can rotate back. Parasite has a lot to deal with here as everybody flying at him from the side of FaZe.
He just has to slow him down. Just has to slow him down.
But this could end up being a counter cap for FaZe. You see they're going to be able to get one kill. Miracles takes out one player, but it's going to be a man advantage for FaZe at the Complexity base. It's going to be Nameless trying to get this flag home. He's able to get one.
He
Look
switches.
how far away he is from his cap.
What just happened? He switched to the pistol, and now you've got Zuma in the back of your base. If he can win a one-on-one gunfight, doesn't realize that player is wrapping back. But what happened? How did that fall apart for Complexity? That should have been a cap for sure,
it's
right?
That first kill. I mean, Parasite's got to at least get one player there, and then you can trade out effectively for the rest of your team. He doesn't come up with a kill. Watching that overextension through bunker, and the players just start to funnel in.
Oh, unbelievable. And that is how this series and kind of season has been for Complexity. One struggle after another. Will they be able to clutch up here? You've got 3 down for FaZe. Now Zuma, the lone man on kind of the Complexity side of the map. He picks up one. We'll see if he can find more. 2 players going to be flying at him, and eventually he will be cut down. Now, you've got some specialist stuff on the other side. You have kinetic armor for Parasite. You have Heat Wave for Miracles, and they're getting close to a couple others as well. And let's switch over to Parasite. Now that there's some pressure coming through mid-map, he has this kinetic. there is a chance for him to fly in as the kills keep coming through, to fly in with kinetic armor. Here it is. He's going to soar in. Is he going to be able to find anybody? One in the back. There it is. He will get a flag touch as well as he's going to try and wrap, bring it to his teammate. There's one bottom Lambo. He saw him. He wants the challenge. Come get some. Wins that one. Gets it. Can they put this one through?
There's nobody watching bunker
but do
again.
you? But do you have it? The overextension will be watched by the dart flying through, trying to find players, calling him out.
Kills with the dart, I mean,
well, he might.
This just kind of leaves him motionless in the spawn. He's going to be able to get one with it, but there's one player who's actually snuck by. I don't know if they know plays all the way back here.
Well, Placer's got a lot to do. He's not going to be able to pick them up. And there is the first cap in full streaks for Complexity and Parasite. Is this the bit of a boost they needed here? 6th Streak for Parasite make it 7. He is going off right now, and they need him in a big way here if they're going to come back.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's a huge play by Parasite, but you wonder if they didn't play the first 3 minutes so slow, could they have potentially gotten, another flag? Obviously really close to getting one with Nameless earlier that gets shut down in their own base, but they have the chance to potentially get another flag with so much aggression. They were winning all those gun battles. So Complexities looks like, right now, obviously 45 seconds left, still an opportunity for them to get a flag touch. With these streaks, they're able to make up some mistakes, but they should have a bigger lead than this.
I couldn't agree with you more. If actually Clayster might be able to win one here. He backs that player up. He's just going to grab it and push it right to him. Wants to bring the action in. Able to snap onto that player. Tries to find it in the air, but the Hellstorm comes in. That's going to save any kind of nightmare. But Enable is still here. He's going to be able to pick up one. Can he get a flag out and maybe get across map? He's trying to open things for Attach. I don't know if there's enough time to cross the map. And there's 3 players rotating back. And nothing Attach can do. It will be a 1-0 advantage for Complexity going into the second side. And, well, you cleared out the Nameless site there. They were really worried as he had to pull that one out. So you used a Hellstorm, you used the site of Nameless, all in a last-second defense here. So FaZe's late offense definitely stole some of the arsenal, you think, from Complexity?
Well, that's the only reason I would have said Enable should just go touch the flag. Maybe you could have baited out them using the Lightning Strike as well, but going into the second half, I believe Enable and Clay both have 3 kills apiece. You expect them to play a little bit better, and now Attach can get to work. This is the side where he does a lot of damage on.
All right, let's see. We spent a good bit of time with the side of Complexity early on. Now let's go with FaZe, as they're going to be on the more preferred side. You can see Clayster's got his Tempest up, Attach has his kinetic armor, and Zuma's going to have his sight. So they have a lot of weaponry to work with on a push. You've already got Enable getting aggressive through a bunker. If they can pick up a couple kills mid-map, he's going to be able to pinch, and that has happened exactly. Miracles, though, answers back with a 2-piece of his own. But at least Enable's able to get back in here, be annoying. He just doesn't have any support. He'll be able to hold them in their base for now.
He's going to be able to pick up 1 kill now. Just bait players out and running into him. Wow. If he is able to win that gunfight, puts a lot of pressure on the Complexity guys to wrap back, and he just got destroyed there. Really Nameless with some nice M8 shots off the spawn.
There's one player right below Clayster at half wall. Who's waiting underneath here? That's Parasite. He's been making sneaky plays. He's been winning the key one-on-one gunfights. He's really been doing it all. You can see by his kills, he's 13-7. He's got a couple streaks to work with, too. Did have to burn that Hellstorm, but the Lightning still may be a saving grace here. They only have a 1-0 advantage. As Revan likes to talk about, the more each cap is kind of a mistake you can make. They don't have any right now. The Lightning could save one for sure, but they are so close to tying this up on the preferred side.
On the side that FaZe is on, you talk about that Lightning Strike use. If FaZe is able to get the flag out and get into Mansion, that Lightning Strike really doesn't mean anything. If they get into Bunker, sure, you can hold them in there for an extended period of time, but here, Parasite, do you rely on waiting that long? By the time... And then also, Parasite needs to be alive, right? They kill Parasite and they get the flag out. They could have it all the way back by Sadlight before he even gets up to call that Lightning Strike in.
Well, so far, they're doing a good job on defense, but they're playing back so far that as soon as you get 3 down for Complexity, you can almost guarantee a FaZe cap, right? When you play that far back, one big... surge from FaZe can guarantee they get through. Complexity is starting to try and push out a little bit, but still not really getting 5 pals. Clayster, I thought he was going to check the corner, but he will be cleaned up from behind. One more player in pals for FaZe. Attach trying to deal with it, but Heat Wave coming in. And who's gotten him behind? That's actually Mizuma with the sight, but he pulled this out thinking he was going to have a bit of support. He didn't have any.
No, and I'm wondering if FaZe is just trying to stack some things up, because you see Attach with the kinetic, see Naval with Heat Wave and then Clay with the Tempest. I wonder if they're just waiting to get 1 or 2 dead and then they're going to put all of these out at once and go for it all. And you see Clay actually pops his Tempest, doesn't pick up anybody with it, and you see Naval on your screen trying to push into Mansion. He's going to get tagged with that Vision Pulse. They know exactly where he's coming from. He's going to use his Heat Wave as well, so not a fan of the way these specialist abilities and weapons are being used by FaZe here. It seems just a little bit desperate too early.
Well, this HC might be able to disrupt any kind of push if it can pick up one. There's still 2 players to deal with, but that's going to do a good job in shutting things down. They have another HC actually out as well. These are coming up so big. You don't have Black Jacket on many of these classes doing an excellent job shutting down anything from FaZe. But the fact that they've just been pushed and pushed and pushed, you have to think at some time FaZe is going to get the break they need to tie this up. But thankfully for Complexity, you only have to hold for about 2 more minutes.
Here it might be. You see 2 players drop for Complexity. FaZe going to wait for them to come off the spawn, then going to make one really strong push as a team. The smoke coming down in the Complexity base. So you can hear those players chattering. There's lots of players attacking over by Mansion. And Parasite uses his kinetic armor, and he's able to pick up 2 kills there. And now you're going to see it just be reset. And I think FaZe, they have 2 really good attempts left. And if you had anybody show up other than Zuma, I mean, this could be a much closer game. And you have all 3 players outside of Zuma with only 7 kills apiece. Not a strong performance by the guys on FaZe. And you see Parasite, is that going to be the Lightning Strike?
And where did he call that down? Was that back on defense? Because that's not going to work out at all. There's still a couple players here. If they can win just a couple key gunfights, and Abel gets one. Zuma's going to push the one at the back. He can find him as well, and that's going to be flag out. That might be the tie. Let's look at Attach rotating over, and oh, this is perfect. He has kinetic armor locked and loaded for the push. Wins one. Is he going to pop it? He does. There it is. 2-piece. There's a third, but it doesn't matter as Enable is out, and that is the tying cap with 50 seconds left.
I can usually tell you what's going on all of the time. I have 0 idea why that Lightning Strike was called in.
I don't even know where it was called in.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Did he hit breach with that?
It doesn't hit anybody coming into the base. It's just at a time where you didn't need to call it in.
Well, they had one player on FaZe's side of the map. Was it an offensive call, and they thought they could get a flag out, hold the stalemate maybe? I didn't even see where it went off, to be honest with you.
I don't think you risk calling in that lightning at the end. And look at this. There's one player from FaZe that's not fine.
Oh, no way.
See a flag pull. There's no way Attach gets this out.
Surely he can't do this. I mean, Attach is a phenomenal player, but this is impossible, right? Yeah, okay. That made me a little bit nervous, but there were 4 red triangles, basically.
But this game, Complexity should have won. I mean, this is one they have kind of given away here in the second half. I mean, all the credit to FaZe. They're able to make the play happen, but Complexity...
That sounds reminiscent of Game 2.
Complexity should have saved that. Would have definitely had a better chance to hold that one off. I mean, even if the defensive, even if you're using it defensively, right, and they're pushing into your base, it's really not what you're worried about. You're worried about stalling them off of the spawn.
Well, I can't imagine
and holding them in Mansion or using it when they're in a wide open area like snow.
I can't imagine it was defensive because you had 3 guys up in your base, so it would have killed. There were 2 people pushing as well. Someone would have died if it was called in the back there. Someone would have died.
Maybe the idea was you kill 2 or 3 players, use the Lightning Strike, kill them off of spawn fast again. And then you kind of end all of their pushes, and there's 0 chance. But I think you got to play the safe way with that Lightning Strike. It's such a huge tool that you could have used to save the game.
Well, you'll see Parasite right on the other side of this wall. Naval was waiting patiently for him, but he's backed up. So let's switch point of views here. Clayster at mid steps, looking half wall, connects with 1. Going to lose that gunfight. 2 down now for FaZe, and the pressure coming forward. Attach knows he has to rotate back because look where Enable is. He's kind of in no man's land, at least on the defensive side of things. He has an opportunity, though. They pick up a couple kills on defense. He might be able to get in and pull.
Just tell him to go for it.
Go.
And just
grab
trust
this.
that they are going to win these gunfights back at the base. Now you're going to almost gets out. I thought he was going to have an opportunity to get the guys on Complexity to be stuck in the middle of the map and have to decide whether to go with that a 3-on-3 push in the base or turn around and start to go back and play retreat on defense.
Yeah, that was an interesting swing there. You thought pressure coming from Complexity, but they all rotate back due to the pressure there from Enable. Back and forth, back and forth. The first 60 seconds of this overtime has been insane. But let's take a look at Ricky now. You have a 5 streak here for him. He's pushing towards streaks. He's 100 off of a Cerberus. What does a Cerberus do for you in an overtime? Do you drop it at home defensively? How would you like to use that one, Matt?
I would probably use it defensively. I think you can use either of those other streaks offensively, as you see the flag being pulled by Clay. He's going to just pull out the Tempest, not able to make anything happen with it. But I think you use that Cerberus on the defensive side of things and kind of add an extra defender back in your base.
Well, Ricky's just playing it safe. He has the Cerberus, has the Vision Pulse. The streak will end at 8. He's 20-11. He's having an incredible performance, but the pressure is coming from the side of FaZe. They're the ones getting forward. You see that player at the back rock. That's going to be a sight. Doesn't matter. Enable challenge is able to win it and also push the player with the HC. Enable's going huge. He's been so clutch in this one. No way does he gun another player. He's going to be able to take out the HC as well. Very dangerous for Complexity. They've got the pressure. How is Enable still alive? Attaches here as well, and here comes the pull. They
got to bring it towards Bunker.
They're out.
They have no option but to bring it towards Bunker. You got to see Ricky coming off the respawn, see what streak he elects to use, and it looks like the Lightning Strike going to be called in by Ricky, but the flag already inside Bunker. The flag's going to be pulled on the side of Complexity, but they run into the scythe of Zuma.
That might be it. That might be it. There's a couple pushing in. Attach can close it if he needed with the kinetic, but it will not have to come in. 2:34, that time to beat Complexity. Your tournament hopes are on the line here in the second OT.
Well, that's the thing with the streaks I talked about before the overtime, is that they're great, but if you drop and you're on that respawn, you can get it. Well, I was talking about from the other side, you can get it into Satellite, but even from the side that we just saw FaZe have success on, be able to get it into Mansion or Bunker before that player spawns back in and able to use it and just cycle through. Again, Ricky still has that Cerberus, so you're going to have to use that offensively now.
Yeah, well, okay, well, that's a great question. How do you use it? If you're in the second side and you have a Cerberus, just drop it mid-map and let it do its work?
You got to let it just roam around and pick up kills, and hopefully it opens something up for you and your team.
All right, well, we'll see how this one plays out, but the early pressure coming in from FaZe, they're pinching from two sides. One player drops, the player in Mansion will back up and clean somebody up, but Attach is just looking to be annoying here. Make them rotate back as much as you can. I'll say if he got around that corner and got back into Mansion, he's going to make 2 or 3 players focus on him. But look at the minimap. The Cerberus is kind of up by half wall. It's certainly going to be annoying. Clayster's like, where is this? Where is this damn thing? I know it's here. I heard you. You're not quiet. There it is. And of course, that's a player coming in, but Attach answers with a 2-piece. He sees a couple more. The pressure coming in. They're basically riding the wave of this Cerberus in. They're flying through. Miracles, though, the only one left.
And Clave actually pulls out EMPs. At the time the Cerberus was called down, nobody on FaZe had EMPs equipped, and he actually just destroys it, gets it off the map. So Cerberus will not be a factor for the last minute 30.
All right, well, we're going to keep watching the side of Complexity. It's do or die now. You've got just under 90 seconds to go. And at what point is it safe to turtle up? Is there little enough time here that you can play it pretty safe for FaZe, or would you still like to see them play their game?
I would still like to see them play their game. I think you don't change anything in the last minute because you give Complexity so much map control. They're able to kill one player, then make some movements happen, and see Ricky die to some nice shots there from Zuma, and I believe it's Attach pushed all the way up into the Complexity base. He's over by Mansion. As you see, Enable pick up a kill on your screen. Attach is going to drop, but it forces some players on Complexity to rotate back. But you see 2 kills in the kill feed going towards Cole. Miracles needs some help, though. Pushed up the map. Ricky starting to move forward, but they need an AR presence there. Miracles not going to be able to do it alone.
How do you deal with this? Zuma, one of the most accurate players in the game, just sitting at the back rock. Going to be so tough to beat, but now they have a 3-prong push. I take it back. As Miracles will fall to Attach. The defense going big for FaZe. They're holding on. There's one player in the midst of it all, but there's no one to cover him. Nameless, the last alive, 25 seconds remaining. Not able to win that gunfight. 2 players left. FaZe should have this. They should close it out with the 4-0 victory. There is just not enough time here.
And now FaZe, a very strong performance